How do we show up in the world? And how do our questions shape our leadership? Meet your host, Daniele Forni. He is the self-titled data shaman and, in his own words, a high-pitched amateur podcaster and wannabe influencer. As an executive coach, he lives at the intersection of corporate life and philosophy. Welcome to the Sage and the CEO podcast. Today, we are taking a trip to the classroom. As part of the Coaching Journey's Conversations from Cambridge series, Daniele is interviewing his classmates to uncover what drives them, why they chose this path, and the leadership advice they value most. It's a fascinating conversation. You do not want to miss this one.
Welcome everyone to Coaching Journeys, Conversations from Cambridge. And I'm here today with Neil. Neil, welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Excellent. Let's start with getting to know you a little bit. So can you share a little bit about your background and what brought you to this program?
Yeah, sure. I'm here in Cambridge, where this course is actually based. And I was born in Cambridge. Other than going away to university and traveling the world for a bit and living in London, I came back to Cambridge right from childhood, remembering how I loved to sort of try and help people, whether that was appreciated or not, I don't know, but I had that sort of innate feeling that I really want to help somebody if they're going through a challenge or a problem. Fast forward, education, I studied psychology at A-level, and then degree, and then explored sort of areas of psychology that interested me, which were things like psychotherapy, counseling psychology, and also organizational and occupational psychology. So I've been able to build on my interest with helping individuals, and I guess really been a people person. I've always struggled with the concept of, well, if I was a salesman selling things, I'm not, products, it doesn't excite me, but actually working with people does. And I guess I've been doing recruitment for 20 years now, and I'm looking for an opportunity to build on what I do in helping people, getting a bit deeper, and also looking at, commercially from a business perspective, where can we broaden, what we do and our services. And coaching seems very nurturous and a really good fit for me personally, but also the business and what we offer. So I started looking for a coaching program, and I found one in Cambridge, Cambridge Business Coaching Program for the Modern Institute, which was 8 weeks. I thought it was good. It was not too much of a commitment while I explored coaching, and that was great. And I did that, I completed in March, and really that has sparked the interest and the commitment to go deeper into learning. And this program is the natural next step to that program, the Advanced Executive Coaching program that we're on. And it's been fantastic so far. And that's how I've landed here today, talking to you.
You mentioned that you work for a recruiting company. What are the day-to-day challenges that you see nowadays, jobs back?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously lots of change, particularly at the moment. The wider economic factors, but obviously AI, you can't really avoid AI in terms of how it's impacting and touching or influencing various jobs. So it's a really interesting time at the moment. I mean, recruitment in general has its own challenges as well, with the rise of technology and the rise of AI and the rise of internal talent acquisition teams, which is quite a cost saving for businesses. So there's a significant change in recruitment itself. So I'd say it's an interesting time. It's probably as tough as I remember it, new clients. So if you have a good, strong existing client base, then that makes a significant difference for these.
How can you, because a lot of the coaches often speak about these, worry about AI, worry about the changes, or simply worry about the economy. And I wonder, how do you see your role or the role of coaching, how can it help them navigate the job market?
Well, it's interesting. I obviously speak to candidates every day. I think coaching in general is a wonderful tool to help navigate nearly any type of challenge or change within your career or your workplace. And done right, it should accelerate your ability to change or to overcome challenges. So for candidates who are looking for support, obviously coaching could be a great tool for them.
Have you ever been coached in the past?
In lots of different forms,
I think just
right from sports, obviously, right from very early age through sports and things like that. When it's come to business, then I've had mentors. I was interested in terms of training. I've been coached by other trainee coaches or those going through training programs, engaged a professional coach other than supervision.
And I guess many people will listen to this will have an understanding of what a sports coach is. What are the differences or similarities between an executive coach and a sports coach?
Well, I think it depends on the type of sports coach, but I've had coaches before who I think are quite closely aligned in terms of they are not giving you clear direction on what to do, but they recognize the talent you have and bring it out of you. And they bring it out of you very cleverly through things they ask you to do or the questions they're asking you, to elicit the responses they're looking for potentially. But they are recognizing that you are the talent in sport, and they're there as the facilitator. I think that aligns more closely with the executive coaching than, let's say, sports coaches that will tell you exactly what you need to do. You have to run that 100 meters in this particular time, and that's how you'll get to where you want to be. So, yeah, there's a real mix. In life, that I've experienced both. And I think the ones that stand out to me are those that really facilitated me getting to where I wanted to be without the clear, direction, I suppose.
Interesting. I was coached years and years ago when I was probably in my teens to be athletic. I found experience fascinating because it is at the same time like pushing you, but also like letting you find your own space, find your own pace in the field.
Challenge that coaches can put to you can really help with growth, depending on the skill level of the coach. How much challenge and understanding how much challenge is beneficial to you and too much challenge is not.
And looking at leadership today, is there a skill that you think people either need to have or should have or probably is very beneficial for them nowadays?
Well, I think it depends on the seniority, I suppose, but I'd say prioritization is such a key thing. Typically, a leader will be juggling many plates at the same time, and it could be a combination of people management, line management, team management, but also it can be, targets, or it could be organizational change, project management, and various things. And some senior leaders are customer facing as well, and they have that element to add into the mix. So I think there's lots of skills a leader needs, but I guess prioritizing and also in some ways looking into the future. And when you come to things like AI, understanding and looking at how things can influence your business going forwards and trying to stay at the forefront of your particular sector or your particular area of business is a very key skill.
And your younger self.
Start coaching earlier. Start the coaching journey as early as possible. Coaching is, for me, a lifelong learning, a never-ending learning journey because, for one simple fact, you're often dealing with individuals, human beings, everybody's unique. And I think the longer you're in coaching, the more skilled you'll be, the more spiritual build up. I think there's probably nothing second to experience with coaching. So that might be a piece of advice.
Interesting, because quite insightful, because no matter how many books you read, no matter how many questions that you might ask in a session, there is always a session that probably is a bit more challenging or more where you get a bit lost. But that's where actually you learn how to become a better coach.
Yeah.
And as you know, through this program, we are doing some coaching with several people. Is that something that you find out about yourself through this process?
I think some of the practice coaching that we do in this program is some of the most important and exciting elements to the learning journey as far as I'm concerned. The things I've learned about myself are that's very passionate about supporting other people. And it's in those moments, in those conversations that you have, if you see the benefit that you're bringing, it's incredibly powerful. And it's probably only during those conversations you start to recognize that in yourself, how much that means to you. And of course, there's loads of practical things about your technique, about the environment that you're building, that I've learned in each and every one of the conversations that I've had so far. But that's the exciting part, Renee.
I'm learning so many things about myself as I go through it, to the point that I feel like the more I coach other people, the more I'm coaching myself, which is quite useful. We're going towards the end of this conversation. I have probably a coach-related question. Is there a favorite question that you would like to ask to a person when you start the conversation?
I'd love to ask lots of questions. But if there was going to be one, I think it really start the conversation off about how their day has been so far is quite powerful, because it gives you an opportunity to learn where they're at that particular moment in time. If they've come from an incredibly busy day, can be very different to somebody who has had a nice relaxing start to the day for some exercise, for example, or something like that. So that kind of question around how they are there and then in that moment, how their day has begun, I think is really important. And I guess what excites you about your coaching journey going forwards?
Thank you, Neil, for that wonderful answer. I have probably a last question now that we are wrapping up this podcast. What excites you about your coaching journey in the...
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I'd like to say everything, because that is true at the moment. But I think the thing, ultimately, what really excites me is the prospect of helping individuals, no matter what they're facing, no matter how well they're already performing, no matter what challenges they are facing, just simply being able to help people move forwards. What's not to love?
Excellent. Neil, again, thank you very much. Thank you again for coming, and I'll see you in January.
Yeah, thanks very much.